Welcome to the Clause YouTube channel.
Together, we strive for a safer, secure, and more stable world.
So hello and welcome to Strategic Frontlines, the YouTube channel of Center for Land Warfare Studies. Today we have with us two eminent guests. So we have former Ambassador Ashok Sajanhar of Kazakhstan, Latavia, Sweden, and also a distinguished fellow of India Foundation. And he's one person who comes to the rescue even at the last minute if we request to do so. So thank you very much for that. And in the same vein, I would like to also welcome General KJ Singh, who has been my mentor, my senior, my superior. I would like to inform to our audience a very peculiar and a special thing about General KJ. He is one person who actually glided into academic circle after having commanded the Western Army, where you saw all this action which took place in the last few days post the Pahalgam attack. Being an armored corps officer, I feel that he has more experience in handling terrorism and insurgencies because most of his life he actually spent either in the northeast handling the Naga, Mizos, and the Cookies and the other insurgencies which were prevalent at that point in time when he was the colonel, and thereafter he again came to the east and was looking at the famous Chicken Neck and the Siliguri corridor, where we started some new initiatives of trying to get hold of what was happening across from our uh, neighbor called Bangladesh into our territory of North Bengal. And we were able to uncover a lot of things. A lot of guests are watching us. Without wasting any more time, today's topic, as all of you are aware, is something very, very unique which is developing in the region, and that is China is trying to steer a kind of another CPEG in which it is adding Afghanistan. It was already there in the plans, but now it is trying to give it a concrete shape, especially during the foreign ministers meeting in China. They were able to get the three parties together and possibly are trying to push CPEC into Afghanistan and therefore uh, bring in some kind of stability in the region of Balochistan and the KPK area, which is supposedly giving headaches and body aches to Pakistan. Not only body aches, I think it is dismembering Pakistan from Pakistan, Punjab. So possibly they are trying to look at this as a solution to that problem, but it has implications for India. And to actually uncover that, we will go to our guests today. And first, I'll invite Ambassador Sajanhar to actually lay out what exactly is in store for China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, and what is the implication of that to India in diplomatic terms. Especially, I'll leave the military term to uh, uh, General KJ Singh. So over to you, Ambassador Sajanhar.
Well, thank you very much, General Singh, for inviting me, and thank you, Klaus, for inviting me to this very important podcast seminar on the issue of Afghanistan. What is the status of Afghanistan as far as the region is concerned, and what appear to be the intentions of China as far as this region is concerned. So, a few words about Afghanistan as it stands today. We know that the Taliban dispensation took over in August of 2021, 15th August 2021. They came to power, and one particularly remarkable thing about this is that there is so far, I don't think a single country that has given diplomatic recognition to the Taliban dispensation in Afghanistan. Although we do see that last year it was China which did accept the credentials of the Afghan ambassador to China, and they have, I don't think they have appointed their own ambassador, but they did accept the credentials of the Afghan ambassador to China. Otherwise, none of the other countries in that sense have given diplomatic recognition, because they have a number of asks of the Taliban uh, establishment, say in terms of the women's rights, so that they should be honoring women's rights, girls' education, the possibilities of women working, having a more pluralistic governance system in which there are the other minorities, whether it is the Tajiks or the Hazaras or the others, they are also involved in the administration. So there is, at the moment, there is not a single, except possibly with the exception of China. But that having been said, the large number of countries are maintaining their diplomatic presence in Kabul. In fact, after 2021, there were several of them who left Kabul. For instance, India left Kabul on the 17th of August. But there were many countries that never left Kabul. They have their embassies there. But as I said, no diplomatic recognition, and they are working. And those are particularly the Central Asian countries, three Central Asian countries which have borders with Afghanistan, Tajikistan, which has about 1300 kilometer long border. Uzbekistan, I think, has about 137 kilometers, and then Turkmenistan about 800, 900 kilometer long border. And of course, Pakistan and Iran on the other side also have long borders. Some of these countries had designated uh, Taliban as a terrorist organization. For instance, even as far as Russia is concerned, they had designated Taliban as a terrorist organization, if I remember correctly, in 2003, as long back ago as that. But I understand that last year they have removed that designation from the Taliban. And also last year, I think Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan have also removed the designation of a terrorist organization from the Taliban. Now, my several visits to the Central Asian countries in recent years, particularly after 2021, have given me this impression. What these countries feel is that Taliban is here to stay. So it is, and to get it integrated into whatever is this, regional peace, regional security, regional development, they need to engage. And these countries are engaging, particularly. I know that Uzbekistan, they have something that is called the Termez Dialogue. Termez is one of the cities in the southern part of Uzbekistan, which is close to the Afghan border. And only very recently they had this Termez. A large number of countries are involved. And basically, the idea is that there is of course the anxiety and the worry that there are a large number of terrorist organizations in Afghanistan, and that was the worry of India also. Whether it is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, there was this thinking that once Taliban comes to power in Afghanistan, what Pakistan has been seeking, the so-called strategic depth in Afghanistan, that they will be able to get that, and that will create a problem for India. And of course, there is the ISIS and there is the Al Qaeda, which are operational from Afghanistan, particularly from the east and the Khorasan province of Afghanistan. And we know that there have been a number of attacks in Russia, and they have been attributed to the ISIS that has been operating from here. So I thought I'll give this very quick, general, brief background about the situation as far as Afghanistan is concerned. Now, as far as China is concerned and the CPEC, as far as CPEC is concerned, that is the most significant and project as far as the flagship iconic initiative of Xi Jinping and China is concerned, that is the Belt and Road
Yeah, right.
Initiative. But we've
Yeah.
seen over the years, it was launched in 2013 when Xi Jinping went to Kazakhstan at the Nazarbayev University. He launched the belt part of it, that is the continental part of it, and the road part of it he launched the same year later in Indonesia. But we know that as a result of COVID and other challenges, the Belt and Road Initiative is not doing well in different countries. And even as far as Pakistan is concerned, the CPEC is not doing well at all in terms of, it was supposed to provide this given impetus to trade, to economy, to productivity, to energy, etc. That unfortunately it has not been able to do. And even the security of the Chinese professionals and Chinese workers and labor, particularly in Balochistan, has not, they have not been, the Pakistan army has not been, the authorities have not been able to safeguard. So I think there has been that worry also. Second point is that this extension of CPEC to Afghanistan, China has been talking about it a great deal, and people have been saying that Afghanistan has about $3 trillion worth of rare earth minerals and lithium and cobalt, which are required for all these, high tech industries. And possibly China is wanting to access those minerals and metals. Of course, in the past, it used to be the instability and the insecurity in Afghanistan that China could not go there. But let me also mention that since 2008, China has had a lease, a 30-year lease, on one of the largest copper mining mines in Afghanistan, that is the INEC copper mines, which is supposed to contain, I think, more than 10 million tons of copper. It has not been able to work that. It was not able to work it till the Americans were there in 2021. And even after that, the progress, I'm told that some roads are being built since last year, but the progress has been very slow. So I think as far as this meeting of the three foreign ministers in Beijing is concerned, we need to see how it goes, where it goes. But I am frankly not very confident that they will be able to take this forward in a very proactive manner very quickly. The last point I would like to make is that Afghanistan has been reaching out in a very concerted and in very proactive manner to India. And we've seen that there has been a meeting of our Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri with the acting Foreign Minister of Afghanistan, Ahmed Mutaqi, in Doha just a few months ago. We had a delegation, the head of the division that deals with Afghanistan and Pakistan. He visited Afghanistan recently, and also Mr. Mutaki had a telephonic conversation with our External Affairs Minister, and they are very keen that India should get into more proactively in Afghanistan. I think all your listeners would be aware that India has invested not in a commercial sense, but basically in terms of providing benefits to the Afghan people, more than $3 billion, and some very important flagship projects like the Afghanistan India Friendship Dam, Zaran Jelaram Road, Pule Khumri transmission line, etc., etc. We can speak about it. That has been done by India. So Afghanistan is very keen that India should come out in a strong way, again engage itself with Afghanistan. And they have promised that Afghan territory is not going to be used for any inimical purposes against India. So, that whole idea that it will provide strategic depth to Pakistan, that I think is gone, because, TTP is attacking Pakistan from the safe havens in Afghanistan. And there have been problems between the Afghan Taliban and the the and Pakistan Army also. So, Jan Singh, if you permit, I will stop here with this a brief introduction, and of course, I'll be very happy to engage, respond to your questions, and engage in conversation on what we can expect going forward.
Exactly, sir. I think you have highlighted the positives of our relationship with Afghanistan. But since that particular point, when China has intervened in this manner of getting Afghanistan and Pakistan together, there are some doubts in the mind of people here, and also you can find it in the question box that uh, there is this fear that India might get isolated diplomatically. So I'll reserve that question for your second round as to how we can overcome that challenge of
Sure, sure.
diplomatic isolation which might follow, especially going by the fact that a similar kind of an axis is being tried to be worked out by China on our eastern front. I mean, when we are looking at China, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and that particular route. So, are we getting hemmed in diplomatically and economically as well? Because if we have given 3 billion on the same in the same breath, you said that they have around 3 trillion worth of potential, which they are seeing it in Afghanistan as far as China is concerned through the CPEC initiative. So that will be in the second round, sir. I'll move on to General KJ and ask him about the strategic implications, because it has been said by a number of experts that if you touch the CPEC line, and this time round, what actually happened was we were very close to CPEC as far as striking in Pakistan was concerned about the military targets. You know, if you can hit Noor Khan and Bhulari air bases and other Murid air bases and so many other places which we hit, we are likely to actually affect the CPEC security, CPEC stability, and also the investments into CPEC would start drying up. So, with that particular context, how do you see the strategic implications of this particular tie-up of uh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and China affecting India's future military options in case if another Sindoor kind of an action takes place, or as we have said that we are able to cite any of these main perpetrators of terrorism like Hafiz Saeed or somebody against whom we would like to undertake operations, because ultimately these are the guys who have been actually responsible for the Pahalgam attack and so many other attacks in the past, including Pathankot, including Mumbai, and so on and so forth. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jal Chauhan. Thank you, Jal Dushyant. Thank you. I am calling you Dushyant Chauhan, but I am just sorry, Jal Dushyant.
No problem, sir.
And
We are both same, sir.
yeah,
Actually.
and privileged to be with Ambassador Sajanar on this panel. See, when China-Pak Economic Corridor was designed,
Thank you.
the security was a major concern. And in order to
Yes.
provide security, it was decided to later, after a while, raise two light divisions. So there are about 36,000 troops who are specially equipped, and Pakistan also raised additional units of frontier constabulary. So, all in all, Pakistan has tried to reassure the Chinese that we will look after and safeguard your personnel who work over there. But actual situation is far from these assurances. Chinese have lost more than 20 people who are working on CPEC related projects. Last year, in the provinces of Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, close to 1,000 people lost their lives, civilians and security forces included. So there is an upsurge of violence. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is particularly active, and all these actions which have taken place against the Chinese personnel have been not only on CPEC but on some other projects also. Like the Tasu Dam project is not part of CPEC. There are
Okay.
there are Suki Kinari and other projects which are there. So the attack was on people who are working on Dasu hydroelectric project, and that is not part of CPEC per se. But that apart, there have been major attacks on Chinese personnel coming out of Karachi University. Turbat. Turbat is a very strategic uh, Air Force station very close to Gwadar. See, the coastline that you see over there, after all, there's a very pertinent question. Who needs Gwadar? Certainly not Pakistan, because Pakistan has enough ports. There is Karachi, there is Bin
Jivani,
Qasim, there is Chivani,
Jivani. Yeah,
Kara, Pasni. 70, 80
absolutely.
kilometers from Gwadar, there is a port of Pakistan Navy. So they didn't need it. No trade also
Yeah,
takes place. But
Mehran.
China definitely needed it. And China has also managed to create an airport over there. It is said it is for civil purposes, but it will become exactly like Matala Airport next to Hambantota, which is called nearly the emptiest airport in the world. You know, hardly any flights take place over there. But
Yeah,
China has this plot that wherever they make a port, they also create an airport. And long-term vision of Chinese could well be that they can, if the surface route gets blocked, they can secure an airhead and they can operate the port from there. That is also possible. So, and like you mentioned, Operation Sindoor has flagged the biggest strategic vulnerability of Pakistan: lack of strategic depth.
depth.
If there is no strategic depth, where do you go? Where do you seek that depth? See, earlier, Pakistan was even looking at Islamic nations. And if you remember, sometimes early in 60s and 70s, Jordanian Air Force and such like things were also there. That Pakistan could relocate its air assets if required into these kind of countries. Their pilots were flying also for them, training them. Still some training, and one of the biggest weakness or one of the greatest threat to us is that Pakistan is managing to train its pilots on latest equipment courtesy Gulf nations.
Oh,
Gulf nations are not doing it on purpose, but they need good pilots. So they get from Pakistan. Now Pakistanis get a chance to fly Rafales, to fly F-16s, all these kind of aircrafts, they are able to access and fly them. And that is strengthening their sort of training, their air combat worthiness. So, all in all, for us, and also for us, it's also a very difficult situation. I'm calling it difficult, it's not easy. See, before this regime of Taliban came into power, we were firmly with Ashraf Ghani. Before that, Hamid Karzai. Saleh was the vice president. All these were Indian affiliated. We had
yeah,
great linkages with Northern Front, and Tajiks, Uzbeks, and Hazaras were our natural constituency. That's how the situation was. We had no linkages with Pashtuns of worthwhile linkages. It is a great realpolitik and advancement we have done that we've opened up avenues to Taliban government. And like what Ambassador Sajjanar is saying, good, bad, ugly, it's the reality. We have to accept
yes.
it. And we
Yeah.
have to somehow keep our channels open with them. India has recently opened a new visa module also in 6 different disciplines. But what is worrying, what you were flagging, most recently, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi put these people together
Yeah.
and he gave this assurance that CPAC or BRI will get extended there. And also, as a fallout to that, the leading Taliban clerics have now given a kind of a call or a fatwa to or a farman to say that jihad can only be done with permission of Amir.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be done like this. So you have to take permission from Akhundzada, who's sitting in,
Okay.
Kandahar. So does
Oh,
it impose any restrictions on
mhm.
TTP? We'll have to see.
Yes.
We'll have to watch. It's an important thing to wait and see, because see, all in all, Chinese, what do they need? They need security for CPEC. They know that light divisions are not able to give the security. Who can give the security? Taliban. If
Taliban.
Taliban gives the direction that nobody will touch, I'm telling you, nobody will touch. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Earlier, when the logistics of US and international coalition forces used to go from Karachi port into Afghanistan, they used to pay protection money to all these warlords. They used to pay the money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's
now,
been the story.
so now it may be that Taliban will accept this protection money and provide some kind of a security to CPEC in conjunction with, it suits Pakistan, because Pakistan, uh, by some means, wants security in that area and wants to curb the activities of Baloch Liberation Army, because they are fed up of attacks on Turbat and other such bases. And also, Dushyant and Ambassador Sajjanar will also be able to recall the concept of Taliban or Mujahideen initially was linked to pipeline police. It was said that when TAPI is formed from Afghanistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan,
Pakistan and India also.
India, the pipeline police will be these people, these guys who are being given training and all. So will now Taliban, which is hard up for money, take this thing? And will it become a partner to this kind of a protection? It's feasible, it's possible. So we have to remain, and also over here I'll also like to flag one thing. It's an academic discussion, so we must also point out our concerns. Sometimes they may
Yes.
not be overtly not so palatable also. See,
Correct.
we are being fair and accommodative with Sheikh Hasina. By same token, why have we broken all linkages with Northern Front? Why is it that we have? I hope I am wrong, because our government is very
Absolutely.
smart. I am.
Absolutely.
I hope I am
Yeah.
wrong, because I would
Yeah.
like my government to also keep channels open to these people, because
Correct.
we see Pakistanis going there now. And Mohammad Saleh made one remark like this, that Pakistan is interacting with us. So all kinds of, we have different kinds of people. Government doesn't have to own everybody. There can be some mavericks who can be pushed by government, who can keep the channels open with those guys. But we
Yeah.
need to have, Afghanistan is, like your readers are worried, even I am worried. Afghanistani kisi ka sagga nahi hai. Let us
Bilkul.
be very honest. They can change. Interest is the only thing that derives them. They are a very fractured society, uh, and to us to believe that we will put all our eggs with 42% Pashtuns may not be 100% safe. It'll be good idea to keep engaged with Uzbeks, mainly Tajiks. Tajiks are 27%. Uzbeks
Yeah.
and Hazaras, they are also important.
Smaller. Yeah.
One more thing I would like to say, with your permission.
Ah,
Uh,
sure, sir.
Iran is also an important player in this. We have to
Mm.
remain networked with them, because they have significant influence over here. What Pakistan can do to spoil our relationship, Iran can redress for us. That channel we should try and keep open. So all in all, I would also like to put here that, like what Ambassador Sajjanar says, this BRI thing, like you've seen in Nepal, Pokhara airport was made, which is a disaster. There are inquiries going on. Uh, in Myanmar, this was proposed, it's not gone much. You know, what has happened in Matala airport is a subject matter of inquiry. So many of these things which Chinese do, and including CPEC, see how much money has been sunk and what kind of benefit have Pakistanis derived. Nothing much, because you make power plants and you don't change the transmission lines. How will that power get transmitted? How will it get to consumers? So there are multiple challenges in this, but we have no choice. Afghanistan is part of our mandala, like what Chanakya says.
Mandala
So
theory.
we cannot wish them away. They
Yes.
may appear to be not so good, not smelling like roses to us, but they are the reality, and we have to keep network with them. And I strongly believe we have to be networked with all segments of Afghan
Absolutely.
society, all segments. We had great relationship with Afghan army. I myself went for passing out parade where Afghan army chief had come. And another thing I want to point out is I am very distressed that Sher
Mhm.
Mohammad Stekanzai, the IMA trained deputy foreign minister, he somehow has lost his power in Afghan metrics because he was India's friend. He was a liberal person, but he somehow has been eased out. So we
Yeah.
hope we find more traction over there. But I think I'll also pause here. But just to sum up, Pakistan seeking strategic depth desperately, and now more desperately after Operation Sindhu. Secondly, China trying to broker something, some kind of a buffer zone as a protection for CPEC, and in the process bring down Baloch and TTP insurgency. Extension of CPEC, an ambitious thing. How it happens, when it happens, we have to push for our projects, which are great also, and we can't do zero sum game. China will be China will be
Yeah.
there. We have to
Absolutely.
find spaces along with China
Yeah.
and deliver there. So that is important
Uh,
for us.
Sir, I think you have rightly highlighted the concerns, and what I liked most was that we cannot actually ignore the actors around us. It is this particular kind of a approach which has led us to limited options, both diplomatically and strategically. So, your idea or suggestions about also having our some channels going with the parties which are other than Taliban in Afghanistan, I think would pay dividends in the long run. I won't say in the short run, but in the long run, definitely they are likely to come to our rescue, like what we are doing in the east. So, in the second round, sir, quickly, I will just ask. All of you to just spend about 5 minutes, because we want to keep these podcasts short so that people have their attention span with us. So, for General KJ, sir, I'll request you to comment on only one thing, and that is the Afghanistan factor. Uh, if it kicks in the way you suggested, that if Akhundzada says that you will not carry out operations in Pakistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, what would be the military implication, in the sense that how will our threats increase along the western border of ours, and highlighting the the asymmetry which was earlier existing might reduce. And sir, for you in the second round, and I'll open up with you in the second round, which is that I spoke about diplomatic isolation, that of course you can give your quick comments, but I would also like you to highlight the US factor, because Donald Trump Jr. and his hunting buddy Beach have been going around, and also his other son have been going around in this region, both in Bangladesh as well as in Pakistan, and specifically Balochistan, trying to find some deals, business deals of minerals, etc. And in Bangladesh, it has been trying to throw up the the dream of making Bangladesh into a new manufacturing hub, replacing China. How do you see US now getting into this entire game plan? Is it that by default seems to be a convergence of interests of China and US in these areas, which is leading to some kind of a diplomatic isolation of India? So over to you, Ambassador Sajjan Harsan.
Okay, you want me to go first on this?
Yes, 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 sir, yes.
Okay. So, these two questions very important. Yeah, sure. Two questions that you have posed to me very important. Let me just mention two brief points, and then I will, come to these questions. One is
Mhm.
in terms of, the strategic depth that Pakistan has been wanting. If you remember, it had also in the 65 war, it had also been able to get to the strategic depth in Iran. It had been able to park its fighter jets in Iran, and it thought that it had to go that far. And when, of course, the Taliban came, then Imran Khan, who was the prime minister, he said that we have, broken the shackles of slavery, and they thought that this would be, they would have very good relations with the Taliban. Now, my point here is that, as far as the diplomatic isolation is concerned, we have to play our cards very deftly. I think we are doing that. Pakistan is a country that has problems with all its neighbors. It has problems with Afghanistan. It has problems with TTP, which is from Afghanistan. It has problems with Iran. It has problems with India. So I don't think that by Chinese involvement in this CPEC, which is again, and I tend to agree that it might not give economic benefit, economic advantage as far as China is concerned. But maybe like Hamban Tota, so here also China is looking more at a strategic investment, strategic benefit of the CPEC, and not so much as far as the economic returns from this are concerned. But I feel that
That's
we
interesting.
have excellent relations with Iran. We are working on Chabahar. We have to sort of project this also to Afghanistan, which we are doing. That rather than going through Gwadar for the getting the warm waters of the Indian Ocean, that you come through Chabahar, and we are working with Iran on that. We have this 10-year long lease on Chabahar for providing services there. Also, the rail line from Chabahar to Zahedan and beyond to Milak, which is the border between Iran and Afghanistan, and from there taking on to Zaranj Delaram Road, and then going to Central Asia. So I think we are engaging all these players and all these actors. They are major actors. General KJ Singh also mentioned about the presence of Iran in that context. And we have excellent relations with them. We have excellent relations with the Central Asians, and we know that Central Asians are very active in engaging with the Taliban. As far as Tajikistan is concerned, although they've had problems, they are not really, they don't have any representation in Kabul. They are not, don't exchange delegations like the other Central Asian countries do. But I think it'll come as a matter of surprise that the largest amount of electricity supply that is going to Afghanistan is coming from Tajikistan. So I think Tajikistan is also an important player as far as the region is concerned. And we, whether it is our external affairs minister or our NSA, we meet, they meet their counterparts in Central Asia quite regularly. Is it all right, or is the connectivity a little problematic?
It is little disturbed, sir. Now it's okay now. Now it's okay now, so you can go ahead.
Now it's okay?
It's okay now. Yeah.
Okay. So I think there is also very soon. Okay, great. Thank you. So very soon there is going to be also, I can see that, India plus C5, that is all the five Central Asian countries, their foreign ministers meeting, and also possibly, hopefully, a summit between the Indian Prime Minister and the presidents of these five countries. And I'm confident that Afghanistan is going to be an issue of deliberations amongst these countries. So definitely, as far as keeping all the channels open with all the neighboring countries, and you're right, meaning Afghanistan is definitely a part of the extended neighborhood, and we have to connect with them. So it is not only what we did in the past, but even after Taliban has come, we have provided them with 50,000 tons, metric tons of wheat for the people of that country, for the citizens of Nepal, of Afghanistan, and also medicines and COVID-19 vaccines and so many other things that have been provided. So I think, as my Prime Minister has said, that we will never let go of the interests of the people of Afghanistan. So I think our engagement with them will stay. We have been cautious, and I think naturally so, because of the experience that we've had with the Taliban when Ashraf Ghani and Hamid Karzai were there. I'm sure everyone would remember that our councillor political Venkateshwar Rao and our military attaché, they were blown up as their car was entering into the premises of our embassy there, and also many other attacks that had been launched against our personnel in Afghanistan by the Taliban, which had got safe havens in Pakistan. So naturally, we are cautious, but I think we are taking it forward. The second part, General Dushan, that you mentioned about, Donald Trump's son and his golf buddy, Beach, and others. I think that is again something that we need to be cognizant about. I, have been very proactive as far as strengthening and diversifying our relations with the United States are concerned, because whether it is in terms of our security, in terms of our the challenges of geopolitics, or getting the on the moving on the path of Atmanirbharta, or on Viksit Bharat 2047, I think we need the cooperation and collaboration of the United States. That having been said, I think over the last few months since Mr. Trump has come, the level of trust that I can see in and the reliability in the United States, that I think has come down quite significantly. So we will need to be much more cautious. I'm not saying that we rework, go back to the drawing board as far as our relations are concerned. No, as far as getting technology, as far as getting defense equipment or whatever we need, as far as increasing our trade. Today also the United States is the largest trading partner for India. We have a target of 500 billions by 2030. We need to maintain all of that. We need to progress, make sure that we are not vulnerable in any way in terms of our relationship or dependence, particularly, when the United States says we offer F-35 to you, etc. I don't think those critical defense equipment or technologies we should be touching with a barge pole. We should be looking at much greater, self dependence, trying to move that very quickly as we go forward. Thank you.
Uh, uh, Thank you, sir. And General KJ, sir, quickly on the military aspect, the implications for India in case if Afghanistan pulls the rug from us, especially that Akhundzada factor, sir.
See, there are various schools of thought. Somebody was just posting on your chat also.
Yeah,
How
he
much
is no
of
more.
influence does Akhundzada have? There's also a question like this. When I
Yes,
said Akhundzada, I don't really mean only him. He
could be any
is
Amer.
Amirul Momin, but there are other power centers over there. And
Yeah.
this call was not given to only Akhundzada. It was said that the Amir or head or whoever is the power center, when he sanctions, you can do jihad. But that has been the line all along. The terrorist
Mhm.
groups are unlikely to follow it completely. They don't follow such things. They have their own logics. They find the way around. Firstly, all groups are not under their control. So, for us to imagine a situation where it will completely stop, unlikely. It will come down at least temporarily. It will open a space for Pakistan to do some kind of negotiations, give and take, and make some kind of arrangements to make CPEC more secure. That's what
Absolutely.
Chinese aid probably looks like. And for that, if they have to pay protection money, they'll do it. That's not a major problem for them. For India, militarily, uh, it's a worrying situation because China has been doing maritime exercises with Pakistan. It has been also, it can use this for interoperability, this line of communication. And even more dangerous for us can be that when China positions some engineers and declares it that they are positioned over here, can we target that location?
Yeah.
There's a big question mark. How do we target that location? See,
Yeah.
when Prakram happened, there was a base, Jacobabad, I think, where it was said that American assets and American operators are there, which are operating drones for surveillance on Afghanistan. So we could not touch Jacobabad. We had, when we used to discuss our target list, it was informally told, "Ki, leave this out, please. The Americans are there. We don't want to start a war with America."
Mm.
So if China, the way Chinese operate and the way they are doing it in this Operation Sindoor, we've seen. If China declares that they have these camps of their where their workforce is located, then it will become difficult for us to target those areas. That restraint will come on us. So these are few military factors, but allow me to say that I am myself totally surprised by precision which has been shown by our missiles,
Absolutely.
the way it has
Absolutely.
been done.
Absolutely.
And I am more than that, I am surprised by total collapse of Pakistan's air defense. I just can't
Absolutely.
imagine. How can you leave
Absolutely.
a place like
Uh,
Sargoda so naked or
yes.
Chaklada so naked? So
Especially after one of our missiles long time back accidentally went across, and they were not able to do anything about it. I think they should have learned their lessons then.
tell
I
Kushan,
I don't know.
there is a narrative which is coming out that now
Yeah.
Chinese are saying, did India
Uh-huh.
do it to test Pakistan's responses and check what happens
Yeah.
and later
Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
it as a mistake? I don't think
Yeah.
so. We court martialed that Air Force
Yeah.
officer.
And
So I don't think
I think it was purely accidental, but we learned our lessons, I suppose.
we could have picked up lessons from
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, we'll take quickly take few questions as we are totally out of time. This one, I think you've already answered it. The Chinese are adept at the cloak and dagger bullying and cajoling game. I mean, they have been doing this. They follow Sun Tzu in letter and spirit. If you can achieve your aim without fighting, I think that's the best course. So this is what they are doing. So we'll not spend more time on this. Sir. This one, I would like you to. Ambassador Sajanhar to answer this. Sir, to what extent can we trust Afghanistan? Sure, right now they are not explicitly inimical to us, but things can change overnight and their religious radicalism might overpower geopolitics. Your views on this, sir? Quick, sir, because we have a lot of
Okay,
questions.
very quickly. I don't think that you can trust anyone in international affairs except yourself.
Absolutely.
So I think
Absolutely.
the yeah. So you have to make yourself strong, and you have to make
Correct.
yourself indispensable to them, so that
Correct.
they are not able to. And that is what was also the essence of Chanakya's mandala theory, that you
Correct.
engage with them in such a strong manner, and that is what we are doing with the other neighbors also. You look at what we have done with Sri Lanka, you look at what we are doing done with Maldives. Basically engage them in such a strong way with you that their dependence is so strong on you that they will not be able to wean themselves away from you. And of course, as I think we were discussing, have other options in the same geography. Not only the Taliban, not only the Pashtuns, but
Yeah.
also maintain your connect and relations with the other actors and players in the same geography.
Yeah. Quick question on this, sir. Uh, my observation goes right from Soviet invasion. It's about deep pockets. So it is here. Are we having those deep pockets to keep Afghanistan on our side? Because you said, protection money was the issue which you raised. I think this question comes from there. So
See, if you're asking me, we need
yes, sir.
not have very deep pockets. We have, in engaging Afghanistan society, we have been very pragmatic. I must appreciate that.
Hmm.
Firstly, we have not located our development in one particular province. We've done it all over. I think nearly all provinces were covered. All segments of
All
society,
34,
yeah,
all
got
34
benefited
provinces are
by our
covered. Yes.
projects. And we also reached out to tribal elders, their jirgas, and told them. And in certain cases, I am told, jirgas took upon themselves the protection of these assets. They said, you do whatever you do, but don't fiddle with this. This is in our, with our arrangements, like Salma Dam and other things. So if we do quality work, and like there is a saying, there are large powers, there are big powers, but there are relevant powers. We are neighbors, we are relevant, we have our strengths, we produce so much of grains, and Afghanistan needs them occasionally. So we have to, and we can buy a lot of stuff from them, dry fruits and all. So deep pockets help, but it's not as if that we can't do it with our limited budgets. India is also now fourth or third largest economy, so surely we must remain engaged and engage smartly,
Yes, sir.
the way we are
Sir,
doing.
correct, sir. So the last question, sir, and because we are totally out of time, there are hundreds of questions, but we'll finish at this. Sorry, but in my opinion, the Taliban have become smart enough to play a game between the US and China, which all our neighbors doing. In fact, whether you take Nepal, Bhutan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, I think they also are probably doing the same kind of game, sir. A quick concluding remarks by both of you, sir. A minute each, and then we will call it a end to the show, sir. Ambassador Sajjan Har, sir, you first, and then General KJ.
Yeah, I think what Afghanistan needs today, what Taliban needs today is investment, is funding. That since they do not have diplomatic recognition from anyone, they are not getting any investment whatsoever. So I think they will try to get it from the US. They'll try to get it from China. They'll try to get it from India. They'll try to get it from the Gulf countries, from anyone. So I think we have to make sure that we get sureties and guarantees that none of our red lines will be crossed. And in that context, I think we can engage with them, and which should be on a mutually beneficial and mutually advantageous outcomes.
So, General KJ, sir, thank you very much, sir.
I also
General,
I'd like to chip in with this comment that we have confirmed capability of doing infrastructure work in Afghanistan, like Ziranj Dilaram road network. So we can also reach out to countries like Japan, Saudi Arabia, even USA, which are going to fund these development projects. That execution can be done by us because these countries are not very keen on putting their own people on ground, and security is a big issue. And India that way, through a combination of ITBP and the border roads, can put together a force and do these kind of projects. So we should be, I think, upfront and reach out to these countries and say, okay, if you want to put in money, we will put a small stake, but we'll give you sweat equity. We will have our workforce, so our
Okay.
contribution will come in that way. I think we can try some of the options.
Thank you very much, sir. And I would just like to add the last question, sir. It is not a question, but the actually there was a new member of Gunner Shot. I wanted to thank him and also request him that he could also become member of Clause. He'll get equally better content and product and experts. So with that, sir, thank you very much. I think the important lesson is that we should continue to invest in Afghanistan, but be cautious of our security concerns, both related to Afghanistan, which could be in the form of the gray zone activities, which could be initiated from that direction, and Pakistan for seeking that strategic depth and trying to free its western border so that it is able to concentrate on on its eastern border than our western border. So these are the two major, I think, factors which we need to keep into account. And also China, I mean, Victor Gao today was talking of things, do not do things what you don't want others to do on you. That video is going viral. I think he's living in some kind of a, I would say, a world which is totally devoid of reality. But having said that, we must understand the threat which might emanate from our northern adversary and keep all these factors in our future dealings, whether diplomatic or strategic or security at the tactical and the operational level. So, with that, sir, thank you very much, and thank you to all our listeners and people who are seeing us. It had gone up to over 250 odd people who are watching this particular program, sir. So thanks again, and Jai Hind to all of you, sir.
Jai Hind, and congratulations for
Thank
double
you very
century.
much. Well,
May you
Victor,
Thank
reach
you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ambassador
Uh,
Thank you, sir.
Janhar. Jai Hind.